Thank you. What a pleasure it is to be here today. I want to thank the National Building Museum for your hospitality and fabulous help in planning these prior months. Special thanks to Paul Kilmer for so many details and arrangements. I want to thank the MacArthur Foundation for supporting the work on this volume, and especially the MacArthur Foundation Network on Aging Societies that's chaired by Jack Rowe, as he mentioned earlier. But we're just enormously grateful to Henry Cisneros for his leadership in this area and his work on the present volume. But actually, I got to say, we're enormously grateful to you as a nation for your leadership in housing. I want to say a very warm congratulations to my colleagues, Margaret Dyer Chamberlain and Jane Hickey, who really made the volume come together, and to the exceptional group of authors who are here today, without whom this would have ever happened. The Stanford Center on Longevity was founded in 2007 by several of my colleagues and I at Stanford. Today, there are over 130 faculty members involved with the center, representing all 7 schools at Stanford, from earth sciences to medicine to humanities and sciences, business, law, education. And what we do at the center is to bring groups of people together to find practical solutions for problems of people 50 and older that can improve quality of life at all ages. We're a non-traditional research center. We form partnerships with policymakers and thought leaders, with industry and businesses, to make sure that we identify the right problems to tackle and find applicable solutions. We believe that we can generate new discoveries and findings that will bring about profound changes in the quality of life as a function of longer lives, and that these added years of life really can improve childhood to old age and allow us to redesign the way we live. At the center, we go about our work within 3 core research divisions. One is on the mind, one is on mobility, functional independence, and the other is financial security. And our mantra, what we say over and over and over again, is that to the extent that people arrive at old age physically fit, mentally sharp, and financially secure, that the problems of individual aging and the problems of societal aging really recede away, and we can change our conversations about old age and frailty to conversations about long life, and we believe that those are the conversations that will be most productive and most interesting for all of us. Now, you've heard from a number of people this morning how quickly we increased life expectancy in just a matter of decades, and it may be useful to zoom out even farther to put into perspective how unprecedented is this time and the experiences that we are living through at this point in human history. More years were added to average life expectancy in the 20th century than all years added across all prior millennia of human evolution combined. In a blink of an eye, we nearly doubled the length of time that we live. Throughout most of human evolution, life was short. We don't know exactly, but we think it was about 18, 19 years old. And, think about that. It's touch and go for the species. Humans have to grow old enough to be able to reproduce and then hang around long enough to make sure those offspring can grow old enough to be able to reproduce. A lot of people didn't make it. Evolution acted on age in these early years, but it acted in the way that evolution acts, at a snail-like pace And over hundreds and thousands of years, life expectancy got a little bit longer, and a little bit longer, and a little bit longer. Fast forward to 1800s. In this country, life expectancy was in the mid-30s. And then in 1900, life expectancy was 47. And by the end of that century, life expectancy was 77. Today, it's 78. And this change isn't finished with us yet. In recent years, months have been added to life expectancy at 65 every year. So we're continuing to see life expectancy increase. Now, across the very same years that life expectancy was going up, fertility rates fell by half. In 1900, average number of births to American women was 4.2. I always like the decimals. Today, it's 2.1. And without those two phenomena together, increasing life expectancy and decreasing fertility, we wouldn't have aging societies. We would have many more long-lived people, but the population structure would not have changed. It's because births went down over the same period of time that life expectancy just so dramatically went up that created aging societies. So if aging societies feel uncomfortable to policymakers and planners, if individual aging makes us nervous, we shouldn't be that surprised. This came about us incredibly fast. How did it happen? Well, the short answer is culture, the crucible that holds science and technology and large-scale changes in behavior. Essentially, we built a world that supports long life. We built a world that supports short life, young life. Scientists in the 20th century discovered how diseases were spread and came to understand nutritional deficiencies like goiter and pellagra and gout. And within 20 years in the United States and Europe, we built into the food supply food fortification programs that virtually eliminated those deficiencies. Scientists discovered electricity, and with electricity came refrigeration. And virtually every household came to have both electricity and refrigeration. Now imagine, had these discoveries been made but had been only kept to the privileged and the affluent, the precariousness of the food supply would have remained for the entire population. It was discoveries and partnerships that made those discoveries available to all that increased the average life expectancy. Agricultural technologies provided, for the first time in human history, a sustainable food supply. We got taller, we got larger. We're no genetically different than our ancestors 10,000 years ago, but we function differently biologically. We're more biologically hardy. Bob Fogel, Nobel laureate economist at the University of Chicago, calls this techno-physio-evolution. Evolution by technology and physiology, it changed our biology, our basic biology. But I think techno-physio-evolution may be too narrow of a term because we changed the way we live. We changed our behavior. We made public education available in every state in this nation so that all children, not just the children of the wealthy and the affluent, could learn how to read and to write. And today, education is a better predictor of life expectancy in adulthood than age. So here we are at a point in human history where 4, 5, and conceivably 6 generations could be alive at the same time. This is a game changer. and again, unprecedented in the history of humankind. And the challenge today is the mismatch between the world in which we live, the social norms that guide us through life, and the length of time that we're living. The world that we live in today was literally built by and for young people. Young people are the tacit users of staircases, of telephones, of highways, of train stations, of housing, workplaces. These are all built around the concept that the tacit user is a young person. Even the roles that we have in society presume youth. Jobs today are built around the idea that workers are strong and agile and fast. We haven't even begun to think of new roles for workers who are seasoned and experienced, thoughtful, and have a perspective that only age can bring. If we do nothing to change the way we live, there is clearly a crisis on the horizon. We will be living in societies that are top-heavy with frail and disengaged people and have relatively few people to support them. And if that is the future of our nation, we will all endure many hardships, young and old alike. But perhaps the best news of all is that we're also living at a time today where the potentials of science and technology and culture change are breathtaking. We're living at a time where we truly can solve many of the problems older people have faced that we have seen as intractable and inevitable. And if we begin to think creatively, and we begin to address the problems of people 50 and older with the same level of energy and ingenuity that our ancestors 100 years ago addressed the problems of the youngest among us, then aging societies will stimulate breakthroughs in the social, physical, medical sciences that will improve quality of life at all ages. If we begin to develop technologies that users of all ages can access, it will improve technologies and safeties and mobility of people who are young and old alike. If we begin to rebuild America so that people can maintain their functional autonomy and independence and bring to communities and families and workplaces the many talents that they have, we will all profit from aging societies. As I said, in the end, this will be a story not about old age, but a story about long life. And it truly is ours to write. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now this book, this volume, is finally a reality. You can touch it, you can hold it. And if you play your cards right, you could get Henry Cisneros to actually sign it. And so if you will make your way over here to the East Court, you can find Secretary Cisneros and some other chapter authors who would be willing to sign copies as well. And you'll also be able to grab lunch and talk with people who are here today and share the interests that brought you here too. Thank you very much. Thank you.